including Alas Filipinas and the Philippine men's national football team. Plus, crucial games on tap in the PBA as teams battle for seeding in the Philippine Cup quarterfinals.
And Sharks Billiards Association founder Hadley Mariano joins us live to talk about the SBA on tour, as well as the association's upcoming second season.
I'm Jot Sulit, sitting in for Andre Felix.
And I'm Cheska Calao.
And here's tonight's play-by-play.
Ramiro, the show by Mamoy leaves, Mr. Moves puts it on. Unbelievable. Gemma on the left side. Oh, look at stopping another one. Bacunas rejecting Estevo for the win.
Back-to-back action for Alas Filipinas men and women today.
That's right, Judd. The women just wrapped up their match against New Zealand in the AVC Women's Nations Cup. Alas women kept their semi-final hopes alive after sweeping New Zealand 25-17, 25-21, and 25-18. Vanny Gandler and Ea Laure top scored for the Philippine team with 12 points apiece. Alyssa Solomon made her on-court return as a starter after a one-game absence due to a sprained left ankle. She finished with 11 markers. Alas women will now gear up to face Kazakhstan tomorrow for a shot at a semi-spot.
As for the men, they're currently facing the Hyundai Capital Skywalkers in the Alas Filipinas Invitationals. Alas men are eyeing a follow-up to their 4-set win over the Jakarta Bayangkara Presisi to open their campaign last night. Final score of that match, 25-23, 27-29, 25-21, and 25-22. Former NCAA MVP Louis Ramirez led Alas men's assault by unloading 25 points. Phil-Am opposite hitter Steven Rotter also fired 14 markers in the win. The tournament serves as one of Alas men's training grounds for the 2025 FIVB Volleyball Men's World Championship, which will be held in Manila from September 12 to 28.
Meantime, the Philippine men's football team salvages a draw against Tajikistan in the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. The Philippines got on board first after Bjorn Christensen's header in the 28th minute, to the delight of the home crowd in New Clark City in Tarlac. But Tajikistan's Mabatchev Shervani quickly answered back a couple of minutes later. Then Tajikistan took a 2-1 lead just before halftime on a penalty kick. Christensen then came to the rescue late, scoring another goal in the 79th minute to even things up. Despite the draw, the Filipinos kept their lead in Group A since they hold a superior goal difference over Tajikistan. Only the top team per group will advance to the main Asian Cup in 2027. Up next for Team Pilipinas is Timor-Leste with 2 home and away games set in October.
As for Filipino tennis sensation Alex Ayala, she moves on to the round of 16 in the Ilki Open in Great Britain. That's after she defeated fellow Filipina Lizette Cabrera 7-6, 6-3. After taking the opening set in a tiebreak, Ayala picked up steam in the second set to score a more dominant win. Up next for Ayala is Swiss tennis player Valentina Reiser. They'll face off tomorrow with a time yet to be determined. Ayala seeks to bounce back from her early exit at the Birmingham Open last week. All these are part of her grass court build-up for Wimbledon, where she has a guaranteed seat.
Moving on to the PBA, the Northport Batang Pier pull off a stunner to end their 8-game skid in the Philippine Cup. Northport beat the top-seeded NLEX Road Warriors 113-108 to claim just their second win in 10 games this conference. A huge third quarter here for the Batang Pier to take the wind out of the Road Warriors. NLEX tried to mount a comeback in the fourth, but ultimately fell short. Kate Flores was named player of the game, posting 26 points and 15 rebounds. Northport has long been out of playoff contention, but this game was crucial for NLEX and its seeding in the upcoming quarterfinals. Here's Flores after his impressive performance.
Pretty much just playing as hard as I can every game. Whatever I can do, whatever I can participate in. Right now, trying to look into helping out a lot more in the offensive end, but as you all know, I'm a defensive player, and yeah, just doing what I can to help the team win.
Meantime, the San Miguel Beermen and the Converge Fiber Xers are squaring off as they jockey for position in the Philippine Cup quarterfinals. A low-scoring affair in the opening moments, but the Fiber Xers connected from long range to build a 19-12 lead after the first period. Come the second quarter, Converge was still doing most of the damage. At the half, the Fiber Xers are ahead 53-37. Justin Arana led the way with 12 points in the first two quarters. SMB is gunning for the top spot heading into the playoffs, while Converge is trying to stay in the hunt for a top 4 finish and that last twice-to-beat edge. The second half is still ongoing. Coming up, the Shark Billiards Association is hitting the road. Founder Hadley Mariano joins us live to talk about SBA on tour and how it will bring high-level queue action to cities across the country. Play-by-play, we'll be right back. And we're back. Thanks for joining us here on Play by Play. The table is set and the stakes are high as the Sharks Billiards Association on tour gears up for its grand break.
It's a brand new chapter for Billiards and the SBA, and here to tell us more about what to expect is Shark Billiards Association founder Hadley Mariano. Thank you for joining us once again, Sir Hadley.
Thank you,
Good
Ray.
evening.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, let's get right to it because now there's CDO and Calabarzon. What made CDO and Calabarzon the top choices for this year's tour?
Basically, siguro dahil sa chismis.
We need you to expound on that.
Sabi kasi nila marami raw magaling sa CDO.
Okay.
Nung season 1 namin, isa sa mga top players nung championship team is from CDO, si Pulpul. So I had to see for myself and go to CDO. So true enough, I think at least 30 to 40 yung nag-tryouts nung nung nasa CDO kami. I think I found 4 players na really good national level, can compete, maybe even international. So, I was shocked.
Bakit walang ganun nung college ako? Ang dami kong ginastos sa billiards.
Nagre-rent ka ba ng table?
Hello. Anyway, never
But,
mind.
you spoke about the talent na nakita mo doon. How does the talent from those regions stand out kumpara sa mga nakita natin previously? Or I guess the cities and provinces that are more exposed?
Siguro compare na lang natin siya sa Manila. Siguro kasi sa Manila, it's more of a fast-paced city. So wala talagang bihira yung mga talents na really hail from Manila or NCR. So most talents talaga come from the provinces. Kasi from the provinces, syempre, it's a slower, more laid-back place. They have more time to really hone their skills there. Tapos ang nangyayari lang is they go to Manila, doon nagkikita-kita yung magagaling. Kaya nasa Manila yung mga top players natin. Pero they're really from provinces all over Philippines.
That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
Okay, but of course, back in April, you had the Philippine Open 2025.
Yeah.
So how would you say the SBA has grown since then?
Siguro since then, actually, nung Philippine Open, nung ko na-realize na, kasi players who joined Philippine Open were from provinces. Most of them were from provinces. We had, I think, a pool of 200 players who joined the Philippine Open. And it surprised me, I think some of them hindi nakapunta kasi they're from far provinces. So doon ko naisip talaga na imbis na kasi it was a scouting tournament. Pero naramdaman ko na may mga hindi nakapunta na sayang. So we decided to really just go to them instead.
Well, we heard about the upcoming tournament, no? Pero we also heard about the draft that's gonna happen, the SBA draft happening on June 29. Ano bang pwede i-look forward ng mga fans to this year's draft? And are there gonna be any new elements or formats in the competition?
I think the format namin, we made a really small change regarding the format of Sharks. Kasi if you watch regular tournaments abroad or anywhere that's televised sa online or TV, you will notice there's this, they put a shot clock pag naglalaro para mas mabilis kasi billiards is a slow game.
Yes.
Diba? So the shot clock, tumutunog siya maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds before it actually ends. So I think it takes away yung excitement from the shot clock. Kasi if you watch basketball, tutunog siya, 0 na eh.
Yeah,
Diba?
exactly.
So that's a new element that we're really introducing for season 2.
So if you're not monitoring it,
Yes.
mauubusan ka na lang ng time.
Kasi napansin ko, diba, nagtitisa silang ganun. Tapos 5 seconds before tutunog, they have time to prepare. As opposed to pag tumunog na, wala na.
But also, more pressure.
More pressure, yes.
Tsaka gulatan.
More pressure.
But okay, so there's a shot clock.
Yeah.
There's you actually heading outside of Metro Manila. But what else would you say is different for season 2 on and off the table?
Siguro, new players. Yun nga, yung sa draft pick namin. There are a lot of younger players, I think, na nakapasok sa draft pick namin. So I think the fans, they can watch out for these players.
Well, that's also something I think na importanteng ginagawa ng SBA is to introduce the new breed of players, diba, to the country because we're big on billiards. But how is SBA also raising the bar for fan experience? What can fans really enjoy about the venue and the atmosphere when they watch the SBA?
Siguro if the most obvious thing that you're gonna notice when you watch SBA, yung audience engagement namin is, I think it's we are the only ones who do it in the sport. If you watch typical billiard games, it's quiet. But with our games, kahit tumitira yung player, you can cheer, you can shout at the player. So the audience engagement is really there. So I think yun yung pinaka, it's what differentiates us from other leagues and other tournaments.
It's very interesting. I feel like personally, mababaliw ako.
You have no idea how many times I've shouted at
Yeah,
Billiard
I know,
match.
diba?
Pero sa TV lang kasi ako
Sa TV
nanonood.
lang.
So pwede.
Like to hear people, yung pressure na you have to make a decision
Yeah,
and it seems
yeah.
to go, wait lang po.
I can also
Quiet,
imagine
guys.
the crowd yung they're counting down the shot clock pero iba. Diba? Uunahan nila yung mga ganong factors.
Oh, tira ka na, tira ka na.
Oh.
Alright. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we let you go, of course, do you have a message to all the fans, to all the people who are excited to watch the SBA this time around?
Siguro for everyone watching or already fans of billiards or fans of SBA, abangan nyo yung June 29 namin. It is our draft pick. So, yan, tingnan nyo. May mga bagong players na kami. And of course, Season 2 namin, abangan nyo. It's gonna be in September. You can watch in the arena for free. It's 234 Tomas Moroto Ave in Quezon City.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
That
you,
was
thank you, guys.
Javi Mariano, founder of the Sharks Billiards Association. Coming up, the NBA Finals goes to Indianapolis for the first time in more than 2 decades. We get an update from the city from our very own Carlo Pamintuan live when play-by-play returns right here on One News. News. Indianapolis will host the NBA Finals again after 25 years.
Way too long.
Woo, as the Pacers take on the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 3.
And to talk to us about both teams' preparations ahead of a crucial matchup, we got One Sports correspondent Carlo Pamintuan live from Indiana. Good evening from Manila, Carlo.
Good morning from Indianapolis. The vibe is immaculate here in the city of Indianapolis, in the state of Indiana, because they're all eager to watch the Pacers again perform in the finals. As you said, after 25 long years, everyone is excited. Lahat ng buildings may mga Pacers logos, may mga finals logos, because they're just all ready to welcome their team back from those first 2 games in OKC.
Well, Carlo, we know that it's a day or two before actual tip-off. Pero right around this time, usually the city is already going crazy with promos in restaurants and parades and all that. What have you experienced there? What's the mood of the city right now?
Ganun talaga. It's still a little bit calm now, and the game will be later, no, at 8:30 p.m. So it's on the day of the game. So we are expecting everything to ramp up, maybe starting lunchtime around 12 noon here, because the police already talked about the traffic schemes and go early because they're expecting thousands and thousands of fans to watch here inside the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And it's not just the 18,000 that will be watching in the venue behind me. There will also be a watch party right beside it to my right to welcome the overflow that is expected a little later on.
All right, well, this is actually also the first time that they'll play in front of their home crowd this entire series. So obviously this is a much bigger deal than we can imagine for them. Let's talk about, you know, the Pacers, and even if they're coming off a loss, what's it looking like for tomorrow's matchup?
Imagine how long the wait was. It was June 16 of year 2000 when they last hosted an NBA Finals game. Back then, it was Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose and Rick Smits and Austin Crozier who was leading the Indiana Pacers going up against Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. Even some of the players of Indiana were not even born yet during those times. So
Wow.
the excitement has been palpable. You can really feel it. I mean, we talked to Ben Shepherd, one of their off the bench players. He said his parents have not even met yet in the year 2000. That is how long ago it has been. So you know that they are eager, they're ready to cheer for their squad, and they are just ready to welcome them back because OKC was loud. It was really loud in Oklahoma City, as we've seen through the packages of boom and dip. But now they're ready to even match that intensity here in Indianapolis.
You know what we love, Carlo? We feel your excitement all the way here in the studio. We know how excited you are to witness Game 3, but we also want to ask about the Thunder. I'm sure you've had time to, at the very least, see them, no, in media day or maybe in practice. But what's the mood looking like for OKC? Are they confident coming into Indiana?
I think what Coach Mark Dinolt said was very apt. He said it's a combination of preparation and openness. Preparation because you have to be ready to do what you need to do to be able to react to what you saw in game number 2 and then make your adjustments in game 3. But he also said openness because in a 7-game series, you never really know what is coming your way, especially going up against a coach, an NBA champion coach, and Rick Carlisle. There could be a multitude of options that Indiana could pull off. So yes, OKC is preparing for what could happen here in game 3, but they're also prepared to throw everything away and adjust if Indiana changes things up in their third matchup, because we all know how important Game 3 is. When a series is tied 1-1, the winner of Game 3 wins the series 75% of the time. They know how important this is, and they will play accordingly.
All right, well, do we dare ask you for your fearless forecast, Carlo? Because Indiana got...
He's shaking his head.
No, he's already saying no. No, because we've seen
I'm just
the
saying
last
that,
second heroics from Halliburton in Game 1, and then obviously bumawi Game 2.
For Indiana to have a real shot at winning game number 3, they cannot go behind by double digits again. They've been hounded by slow starts. They've had to overcome a double-digit lead in game 1. They were not able to do it in game 2. When you're chasing from behind, especially a good team like OKC, so many things can go wrong. So for them to have a good start, they need Tyrese Halliburton to score more than his average of 4.5 points in the first half. They need an aggressive start, and it's just fitting that it is here in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse because usually your crowd will give you the energy that you need to really power a hot run.
All right. There, see? Ayaw pa sumagot. Ang haba ng sagot. Tingnan mo to si Carlo.
Ready siya. Thank you so
Always
much.
ready. Thank you for that. That was One Sports Carlo Pamintuan reporting live from Indiana. Both the Thunder and Pacers understand the magnitude of the situation as they prepare for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The Pacers stole Game 1 in Oklahoma City. They fought back from 15 points down early in the fourth quarter with Tyrese Halliburton hitting the go-ahead bucket for the win. The Thunder dominated Game 2 to level the series. OKC led by 18 at the half, but this time they stopped any attempt at a comeback. Here are Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle and Thunder superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sharing their thoughts before the all-important Game 3.
Everything that's already happened doesn't matter other than the score of the series. And so we're going to move forward. There's a lot of things we have to do better. We realize that. We've I think we've lost, at least by the scoreboard, 6 out of 8 or 7 out of 8 quarters. And so we're playing a great team. And so we've got to make adjustments, and we got to play better. Oklahoma has more people to throw at a great player, and really at both of our all-stars. You know, I mean, they can throw different. They can throw bigger, smaller, medium guys at Tyrese and at Pascal, and so it's one of their strengths. And so, you know, we've gone through these situations many times, not only during the playoffs but during the regular season, not just this season but prior seasons. And so we're going to have to adjust and create better situations. We're going to have to be better.
A series is so tricky. Like it definitely is like it's a feel out, but it also can be like there's also so many adjustments made to where like it's almost like hard to like predict and try to determine what they're gonna do with you. You kind of just have to be ready for everything, and just try to be as sharp as you can. That's how I kind of see it. Teams have like we've obviously like played well in certain games, and teams have thrown like different coverages at us as a group and a scheme. And I found myself like trying to predict what they're gonna do before it almost catches you off guard. So I try to like just be ready for everything and then let the game come to me.
We're only 2 games in, but this has already been an unforgettable NBA Finals. Watch the rest of the championship series this June on NBA TV Philippines, One Sports, RPTV, and Filipinas Live.
It's an all PBA lineup in tonight's highlight reel. First, fresh from the San Miguel Converge game, we take a look at this. Off the miss, Junmar gets the offensive rebound, and CJ Perez gets blocked. Look at what Arana will do. Magtitinikling pa just to save that basketball, and the finish. The sidestep, no charge there. Count the basket, no foul, but San Miguel forced to call a timeout. What a save by Justin Arana, the big man, showing that he has nimble feet. He can move them well. First with this save, and again, the finish, avoiding the draw charge of Chris Rosales, finishing for 2. Next up, we go on the same game, but this time from the side of San Miguel. Look at Balti testing the defense of Rodney Bronyal. The shot was short, and Junmar feeds CJ Perez, who goes all the way. We used to call that the Kilikili layup, a la Johnny A. He was able to finish that. CJ Perez, really one of the best open court finishers. This wasn't even that open of a court, but Perez still finishing. Him and the Beermen taking on the Fiber Xers as they go for that twice-to-beat edge in the quarterfinals. Next, let's go to the NLEX Northport game. An eye-in-the-sky play. Look at that big-to-big connection from JB Bahio finding Jonel Policarpio. Big on big alley-oop. Bahio directing traffic, and he lobs it up to Poli for the finish. And that is an up-top play for NLEX. Now let's go to the winning team of this game. Sydney Onuberi coming up with a monster block as Brandon Ramirez attacks. Sydney says no. Off goes Northport. Watch out for Sydney. He's trailing right now, but he will get that basketball for the finish. Onuberi actually had to leave the game with a hurt ankle, but still he left his mark with this electrifying end-to-end play. A block on one end, the finish on the other. That's Sydney Onuberi for you. And finally, we stay in this game. It's a steal that will be taken by who else? The newest Batang Pierre, the Beast, Calvin Abueva. He feeds Joshua Munzon, who gets away with a breakaway slam. The Beast anticipated that pass from Robert Bolick, and just excellent play between two new teammates finding chemistry. Northport stunning NLEX with a 113 to 108 win. And that's the highlight reel. Check. It's a lot of basketball right now, but the PBA is definitely gearing up. Kaya ganito yung action. We're nearing the quarterfinals.
Yep.
Why not?
Here we go. Thank you, Jut. And before we go, it's wedding bells for not just one, but two Filipino basketball stars. Ray Parks Jr. and content creator Zainab Harake officially tied the knot on June 1. The wedding was held at the picturesque Crystal Palace of Aquila in the Sky in Tagaytay. Zainab and Bobby Ray went public with their romance in June 2023. Over a year later, the two announced their engagement. Then today, another power couple said their I do's. Kiefer Ravena and Diana Mackey exchanged vows earlier this afternoon. Kiefer and Diana got engaged in 2024. Congratulations to both couples!
Congratulations, congratulations.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, can we just talk about Zainab and Diana? They were so gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful brides. I love that. Thank you for
Pogi
joining
rin naman si Ray and Keith.
Doon ako sa brides. Okay na. Sikat na sila. Okay na.
That is all
Maraming
from
attention
us
kay
tonight.
Kiefer.
Catch us again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. for a play-by-play of the day's top sports stories.
Play-by-play is on One News. That's Signal TV Channel 8 on SD and Channel 250 on HD. We are also available on Signal Play and Filipinas Live.
My name is Jot Sulit, sitting in for Andre Felix.
And I'm Chaska Litoncala. I'm just joking. Kiefer and Bobby Ray are good friends. Congratulations and best wishes. We are
Congratulations.
so happy seeing you guys find your forevers. And again, best wishes. Amazing life together.